Hello guys. Okay, this is trigonometry part 3. So we want to solve question proper now. Okay, so we'll solve as many questions on we can lay our hand up on, and again we'll share as many questions as we can, and we'll try to solve them if there is time. Of course, we'll try to touch base with them. So now, if sine theta equals 12 over what? 13, and 0 is less than theta, is less than 90 degrees. You should know that. Okay, it's telling you that it's a right angle triangle. That is the meaning. It's indicating that it's a right angle what? The right angle triangle. Okay, so 0 is less than theta, less than 90 degrees. Find what? Cos theta, tan theta, and what? Cosec theta. And don't forget, I've said cosec theta is not the same thing as what? Cos theta. So I intentionally put that here so that you can get the understanding of what we've done in trigonometry part 1 and what? Part 2. So we have a solution here. So don't forget, in part 1, I said something about what? So, ka, toa. Okay? You have your right angle triangle. Your y-axis meets your what? X-axis. At that point is what? Right angle triangle. That is it. Okay? This is your y-axis. This is your what? This is your y-axis. This is your what? X-axis. Where they meet is what? Right angle triangle. That is the meaning of what we mentioned here. Okay? So, you can put your theta anywhere. Let's still maintain what we mentioned in part 1. In part 1. Okay? E, F, G. Let's assume that. Let's assume these are what? Are theta. And I told you where the right angle is facing is what we call what? Hypotenuse. Okay, this is hypotenuse. Now, where the angle is facing, it can be here, it can be here, anyone, you can pick anyone. Where this angle is facing is what? Opposite. Why the last one will be what? Adjacent. Very important. If you can indicate this in questions under trigonometry, okay, part 3, under trigonometry, if you can identify this under this question, then you are good to go. And you know your Pythagoras theorem. Very important. Now, your sine theta, which is your so, which is what they're giving you, opposite. What is the opposite here? So it means opposite is what? I've mentioned that in part 1. If you don't know it, please go through part 1. You'll be able to remember what I'm saying. So is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. So it means that my opposite here is what? 12. Okay? My hypotenuse here is what? 13. Am I giving my adjacent? No, I'm not giving my adjacent. What do I need to do? I need to go and apply Pythagoras theorem to get what? My adjacent. And I mentioned it in part 2. If you've not gone through it, please go through it so that you can understand part 3. So this one means what? Pythagoras theorem is what? Hypotenuse square equals opposite square plus what? Adjacent what? Square. Okay? What's my hypotenuse? My hypotenuse is what? 13 square. What's my opposite? My opposite is what? 12 square plus adjacent. We are not given adjacent square. Okay? So, then, now, because I'm looking for my adjacent, I need to bring 12 to the other side or make adjacent the subject of the formula. Very simple. When I say the subject of the formula, it means let it stand alone so that you can bring 13 square and 12 square together. So this means that adjacent square equals 13 square minus what? 12 what? Square. That is the meaning. Of course, you can press your calculator if it is SSCE in an exam that is permitted to use calculator. You can press your what? Your calculator. But in a very in an high standard exam, okay, you will not be permitted to use calculator. You should be able to know your Pythagoras triplets. I will still get to that. Okay, you should know what they call 3, 4, 5. That's Pythagoras triplets. Okay, 5 there is representing the hypotenuse. Like this one now is what? 5, 12, 13. Okay, 5, 12, 13. That's Pythagoras triplet. It's meant for those that are going for JAMB. Okay, but at this level of SS1, SS2, SS3, or perhaps maybe SSCE, it's permitted to use calculator. But if you know it, it's an addition to your dexterity in mathematics. Okay, 5, 12, 13. So it means that what is missing here is what? 5. But how do I arrive at 5 is why we are using what? Pythagoras what? Theorem. Okay, that's why we're using Pythagoras theorem. So all you just need to do, I don't have a calculator, but I can quickly just do this. 13 times 13, 3 times 3, 9, that's 3, 1. Okay, 9, 6. So this one is what? 169 minus, okay? I can quickly do 12 and 12. 4, 2, 2, 1, 4, 4, 1. So minus 144, okay? So I can just come here and put my 144. I can just subtract. This one is 5, okay? And this one is what? 2. So it means that if I subtract this and this, it will give me what? 20 what? 5. Okay? 169 minus what? 144. 169 minus what? 144 will give us what? 25. Okay? So from here, look at it. Don't forget that this is square. Adjacent what? Square. So if I want to remove these two here, very important, please note, if I want to remove that 2 here, I need to multiply both sides by the inverse of these 2. Okay, I want adjacent to stand alone because I'm looking for adjacent. So because I'm looking for adjacent, it needs to stand alone. So it means this one is something as saying adjacent, that's 2 times 1 over 2. Okay, to remove the 2 equals, I did for both sides, 25, 1 over 2. Okay, I'm multiplying this by the inverse of these 2 to remove the 2 on adjacent because I want to get only adjacent. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to multiply both sides by power half. Okay, multiply both sides by power half, 1 over 2 power half. So from here, if you look at it very well, 2 will cancel 2, then I can now have adjacent. So in indices, what does this mean? I've told you in indices, if you don't know this, please go through our indices part. Very simple. Okay, in indices, power half is simple as what? Square root of what? 25. And square root of 25 is what? 5. That implies that my adjacent is equal to what? 5. And I can come here and put what? 5. That is what we call Pythagoras what? Triplets. Pythagoras triplets. Okay, 5, 12 what? 13. Okay, they give you two values, you already know what the third is all about. So this is what? 5, 12, 13. Very simple, just like chin chin and what? And pure water. So the question you just need to ask yourself is that, how do I get your answer for your cos theta now? And don't forget, you already know your cos theta. Okay, so therefore cos theta will now be what? Adjacent over what? Hypotenuse, so capital. Okay, what's your adjacent is what? 5. What's your hypotenuse is what? 13. That's the answer. Very simple. Cos theta is what? 5 over 13. Then tan theta is what? 2. Tan theta equals what? 2. That's 2. That's opposite over what? Adjacent. What's your opposite here? That's what? 12. Then what's your adjacent? That's 5. Very simple. You can see now, those things are just simple. They are just like chin chin and what? And pure water. They are very, very simple. Okay, so now you now have your cosec. Don't forget, cosec theta is not the same thing as cos theta. So your cosec theta, I've given you in part 2. If you've not gone through it, please go through it so that you can understand everything we're doing in what? Under trigonometry, because trigonometry is very wide. Okay, but we need to take it one after the other. So cosec is the same thing as what? 1 over what? Sine what? Theta. Okay, Third alphabet, I've told you, is the third alphabet that will give you your answer. What's the third alphabet here? Is what? X. So, and that X represents what? That X represents sine theta. Okay? So, the third alphabet is what? X. That X represents what? Sine theta, as mentioned in part 2, 1 over sine theta. And you already know your sine theta. They're giving you in the question to be 12 over 13. All you just need to do is just 1 over what? 12 over 13, which is the same thing as to short division, 12 over what? 13. And I've told you, anything on the right hand side is the owner of the sign. The owner of this sign here is 12 over 13. So to change it to multiplication, what will it now be? So it means this one will now be 1 times 13 over what? 12. That implies cosec theta equals what? 13 over 12. It's just the inverse of sine. That is the meaning. So if you know what you're doing, if you're a JAMBite, or if you're preparing for next JAMB, you know what you're doing. Cosec is what? Inverse of sine theta. If you're getting your sine theta, just reverse, take denominator to up, then numerator to down, you get your answer. So this is just very simple. And at the same time, for this particular question, you can also get for you can get your cot. This is cosec here. You can get your cot. You can get your sine, your cot. Then you can get your what? Your sec. Very important. Very simple. So this is just like it's easy peasy, like my son says. So continue to like, continue to comment, continue to share. Okay, you are benefiting from this. Please like and comment and share, so that, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that we can reach a lot of young minds. Please don't be selling fish. Cheers.